Hey, so this is Terry, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about actually one of my clients that, of course, we will not say any names, but this particular client came to me from her EAP program, and she needed a lot of help because she was extremely depressed and could not work. It started as a good life, right? And they were living in Alaska, both of them enjoying their life, having kids. Eventually, they moved to Seattle, and life continued to be good there. And then something happened along the way, and her husband actually lost his job. And that's when everything started to go downhill. He lost his job. He actually was one of those manly men, you know what I'm saying? And when he couldn't find work over and over and over again, he got really depressed and started just doing some things that was just a little crazy, a little bit on the alcohol side, a little bit on the gambling side. And here was my client, not my client at the time, but she was having to support the entire family. And this man that she knew and loved had changed on her. I mean, he had just completely changed. And this went on, guys, for 5 years. So when she came to me, she actually had been suffering with this for over 5 years. And it got to the point that she couldn't get out of bed. She was engaging in some self-harming behaviors and didn't quite know how to handle life anymore. And she came to me, like I said, from her EAP program, because they were like, we need to get you some help, right? And she was like, I really do need help. And so started seeing her, and guys, I mean, it was really difficult because she had gotten to this point where she just didn't want to do anything. She was tired of the burden of having to support her entire family. At one point, her father moved in, and then her father and her husband both started using drugs. And here she is getting up every day, taking care of the house, getting the kids off to school, going to work, earning a living, paying all the bills, doing everything. I think you can only imagine how much stress that can be on one person to support not only their kids, themselves, but their husband and their father, who are sitting at home doing drugs while you're at work. And so she just started giving up, and she was like, I just want to stay in bed. I don't want to go back to work. I just want to be depressed and reap the benefits of being depressed. I want to be able to get disability and be depressed and get paid for being depressed. So it was a little bit of a struggle because she didn't want to get better. She just wanted me to help her to get her disability. And that's not my thing, right? So I'm the type of therapist that I want to help you to get better. I mean, that's my purpose. And so we had a struggle of her motivation, and she finally got there, guys. It took us a little while of getting her reinvested in life and getting her to recognize the joys of her life. And not just that, but her kids were being so affected by all the adults in the house, right? And so we were able to implement some strategies. One big strategy for her was just to get out the house, to actually start doing some fun activities. I did not sign off on her to be at home. I encouraged her to go back to work, and I told her employer, who was paying me, that I was encouraging her to go back to work. And so she did, because I believe that, during the course of the day, we go on with our life, guys. I mean, we all have a lot of stress at different times for different reasons. It can be anything from a death in the family. That's going to cause you some stress, right? Losing a job, it's going to cause you some stress. That's why we're here, because life can be stressful. But we have to continue during the course of our day to continue to live. You see what I'm saying? We have to continue to live even when we're depressed. Because if you just sit at home and do nothing, that depression is going to continue. Your idle mind will entertain a lot of bad thoughts. For her, she started self-harming because she's sitting at home thinking about how awful her life is. But when she got re-engaged with her and her co-workers and re-engage in society and feeling that she was producing and doing something helpful to others, then she actually started feeling better about herself. So it wasn't just me kicking her in the butt, but it was getting out again. And so that was the number one strategy that we had to use. And then we had to work on the self-harming. And then we had to work on changing her thoughts, right? And we had to work with her connecting with herself to understand what did she want to do. She had given 5 years, guys, 5, of allowing her husband to not work and to wallow and to sit and do nothing, not even cook for the family, not even clean the house. She was just doing everything. And so we all want to be supportive of our spouses, right? We all want to be there for them. But at some point, we have to say, okay, this is harming me. And so she made the decision not to divorce her husband, but to separate from her husband. And that she would leave him the house and she would move with the kids and get an apartment for at least temporarily, right? So a temporary separation to see what he was going to do. Is he going to maybe be responsible for his own life, right? And no, he did not come to me for counseling, but she did. And so she was able to move forward with her life until we were able to end her therapy sessions because she was feeling a whole lot better. So when I ended with her, that issue between her and her husband was not completely resolved. She was living in an apartment by herself with her kids, and her father was living somewhere, and her husband was living there at the house, and he was starting to see that he needed to make some changes within himself, right? So that's what we do. We try to help people. So I hope this has been helpful to you. You guys, we are Gateway to Counseling. Hope you can relate to us and hope that we can help you. All right. Bye-bye, guys.